How's it going, guys? Higgs here, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you some tips that you're going to want to know when you play Avowed. Now, I've been playing the game since early access last week, and there's some things that I'm going to tell you that I wish I knew when I first started playing the game. And before we do crack on, I just want to say, guys, take your time when you do play this. The world is so pretty, and the best part of this game is the exploration. Although I've been playing it for a lot of hours, I'm only still in the first area still, because the game has so much exploration to offer. There's so many hidden gems out there, which we're not going to go through in this video, because I want you to explore them for yourselves, but hopefully these tips will help you along the way. And the first tip is stock up on lockpicks. Pure and simply because in Avowed, you're going to have chests and doors that you're going to need lockpicks. Now, some chests require one lockpick, others require multiple, and that's the same for doors as well. The ones that require multiple, they're the ones with a higher loot in them. Now, enemies do drop these, so you can run around killing enemies, but they don't drop them frequently. So what you're going to want to do in Dawnshore, the first area, is just go around to all the vendors. Some have them, some don't, but just buy all of them. They're not expensive at all. They're quite cheap compared to how much money you're going to be getting when you're just roaming around in the game anyway. So, guys, just remember, stock lockpicks. You can get yourself some really cool loot and open some doors to some really cool areas. Second tip, please do side missions. First of all, because some of the stories and the characters you'll meet are great. And mainly because the progression system kind of feels off in Avowed. I always found myself just lagging behind, especially for the first few hours. And when I wanted to venture out further to the east of the map, the enemies were a bit more difficult, but in a weird kind of way, it does make the combat a bit more entertaining, to be honest, because it's just that more challenging. But your companions don't see it that way, because every 5 minutes when you are in combat, they're going to tell you one of two things. One, that your armor is shit and it isn't good enough, or you need to upgrade your weapons. Now, that's why I say do side missions, because if you don't want to hear them every bloody 5 minutes telling you what to do side missions, get that much needed XP, because it will allow you to get more points to put into your character and your skill tree, and you're going to get them much needed resources, which are hard to come by for when you're at your camp and you need to upgrade your gear. So side missions are really key, and it's a good bit of extra content. As always in RPG, you need that filler content, and I think Avowed does a good job with the side missions in this game. Now, the next tip on this list is cooking. Now, if you're like me in real life and you can't cook at all, do not fear, because Avowed makes it very simple. But cooking is vitally important, just like it is in real life, because you will get much needed buffs. And when you're out exploring, you will pick up all sorts of ingredients, which will allow you to cook up some good buffs, which you'll need during a fight and when you're out of combat as well. Things like leaf tea will give you 150% essence regen and an additional 20% to your max allowance as well. Chocolate cookies will give you that much needed sugar rush, and that comes in handy when in combat, because sometimes you are dealing with a lot of enemies and it's good to have great movement and combat speed. Things like fruitful wine, that will give you that little bit extra damage reduction and extra health. Porridge and stew will regen your health and essence. These are all great recipes to have available, and they will help you out, as some enemies are a bit tough, to be honest, even in the first area, Dawnshore. So just remember, when you go to your camp, just go by the fire and just whip up some recipes, cook some stuff, and just have it there for when you're exploring the living lands, guys. Then we've got the God Totem pieces. Now, I didn't really know what these were at first, and I've only got 2 of them because I'm having a lot of fun trying to look for them, but at the same time, it is quite difficult. But finding them, and you will get some nice buffs. So, like the Scales of Oathbinder, you've got, to make up the whole totem piece, you need to find 6 pieces. So far with the 2, I've got the Queen's Burden, which is +2 intellect and 2 resolve constantly, and Noblesse Oblige. Reviving a companion grants rapid health and essence regeneration, which does come in handy, and you'll be doing that quite a lot because your companions die a lot. But the good thing about this is it gets you exploring the game, which again is the best thing about Avowed. Or if exploring isn't your thing, you can actually buy the Totem of Rightful Rulership from a vendor, and this will give you all the hints of where the rest of the pieces are. You're going to get some good buffs from collecting all the pieces, and most importantly, it gets you out exploring, and you'll find other stuff on top of that. And the next tip is do bounties. You're going to want to go when you're settled in to Paradise, and you're going to go to Southern Paradise in the Market District, go to the bounty vendor as shown here, and just get all of the bounties. And honestly, guys, I had so much fun. Pure and simply because it was nice to get me out exploring different parts of the map. Secondly, the loot is really fucking good. You'll get some legendary pieces from doing these bounties. And again, you'll get some great materials that you're going to need to do upgrades. And you're going to get some much needed XP as well. To be honest, I've really enjoyed doing the bounties. And when you cash them in, you get some good coin, which will help you buy stuff from the vendors and do upgrades anyway. They were a lot of fun to complete, to be honest. And I was actually surprised with some of the loot I got. Like this gun here, Sarok's Pride, a legendary weapon. Honestly, I got quite a few of these. I got some in my stash as well. I got an axe, which is really good. Really worth doing early on. I kind of done it after a few hours, so I wish I'd done it kind of at the beginning. Start on the left-hand side of the map though, guys, because I thought the right-hand side was a lot more tougher to deal with. So work your way from left, round to the bottom, and then go round to the right, or the top, then the right. But the bounties are spread out nicely anyway. Go and do them. You'll have fun. You'll get some good gear. And also you'll get some materials along the way by defeating enemies like lockpicks, which you're going to need a lot of. A tip on fast travel, guys. So if you need to travel to your camp, and you will, because you're going to want to do all the things like upgrading and everything like that and do your cooking, you're going to want to fast travel back to the location you came from, which you can do. Now, I didn't notice this at first because I just kind of walked out the camp like you do, and it just comes up with a screen, but you just naturally hit the button because you just want to crack on. But don't be so hasty like I was, because when you do step out of the camp, it will ask you to fast travel back to the place that you came from, which again can help you, because if you're doing things like side missions, bounties, and you do kind of get a bit power checked or whatever, and you want to go back to your camp to kind of upgrade your gear, that's fine. Go to your camp, upgrade your gear, and you can fast travel back to the exact same spot that you came from. I wish I knew that sooner, because it would save me a lot of time, but that's why I'm telling you guys now, to help you be more efficient when you start playing the game. Now, the next tip evolves around enchanting. So when you go to your camp, you're going to have the enchanting station, and you can enchant your legendary weapons here. The reason why I'm including this is because it's really cool to enchant. You can get some great buffs, like on the sword here, the Last Light of Day. I've currently got Golden Sun's Ascent, which is killing an enemy restores 3% of your maximum health. But if I want to enchant that to the Golden Sun Zenith, that 3% turns into 10%. But it cannot be undone. So if you enchant a weapon, it can't be undone. So all you got to do is save before you do this. And if you do figure out that you've made a mistake, you can just load the game back up again and just enchant something else. And now this is quite important, because the Avowed material economy is pretty rubbish. You have to work and grind hard to get certain materials. And with enchantments, these materials are quite rare. They're going to be hard to come by. Things like Bear Claw are pretty easy to come by because there's like a shit ton of bears in Avowed, so that's fine. But Primal Flame can be a bit of a nightmare to get. I'm struggling to find my third one at the minute. And this is why I say, just with enchantments, they're great, but just be a bit careful and always save your game before you do it, because you never know. The next tip is use your stash. And this is because you're going to be getting a lot of gear in Avowed. When you're running around, just killing enemies, opening chests, you're going to get a lot of common gear. But as you gradually play the game, you're going to be getting unique gear, which I keep calling legendary. That's from my Destiny days. I see anything that's yellow, it's legendary. But it's called unique gear. So when you get your unique gear, you're going to naturally put that on because it's better than the common gear. Don't just not pick common gear up, put it in your stash, because when you go to vendors, you can toggle your stashed items, which you can then sell for money if you need to. Granted, you can just break it down for much needed materials, but if you are in need of money, remember, put some in your stash, and when you go to the vendors, just toggle your stash items and then sell them. But honestly, guys, I would say the best tip is just to take it slow and explore the first area. Don't rush. Do everything you can and explore every corner or square inch of that map, because there's so much fun stuff to discover in this game. It is the best part, honestly. It really, really is. But guys, that is the end of the video. If you've enjoyed it, as always, please hit the like button because it helps the video and the channel out massively. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button as well for more Avowed content in the future. But as always, guys, take care, and I'll see you on the next video.